Hey now. All right. Hey now, it is Halenville time. It's Wednesday night. Right on. It's February 15th, 2023. This is Halenville Live. Fruitcake Tony, Keith Campbell along, Neil Daly in the house. What's up, Neil?
Good to see you guys. It's been a while. Miss everybody. Good to see you. I see some familiar names in the chat. I miss you guys. I've been watching the show from afar, and it's about time I get back into it. So got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, we do. It's good to see you, bro. I know you're busy. Always busy, dude. Yeah, man. We have
got the kind of business that's good.
We got a big unboxing going on tonight. The fruit sickle is here. Yes, it is here. We're going to unbox it here in just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So nice to see everybody. I haven't opened up my chat. I don't like opening up my chat early, Neil. I think it's a jinx.
The jinx.
We are going to do at about the hour mark. We're going to do some nearly impossible Van Halen trivia.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, we have a good question lined up for you. We're going to toss you a cool prize pack, including not limited to a 1971 D quarter.
Nice.
Yeah, we will. We'll toss.
Are you giving away one of these too as well?
Exactly right.
Cool.
Yep.
So you get $1 million Van Halen dollars.
Yeah.
And a 71 D quarter. Sweet.
That'll be at about the 1 hour mark. We'll go down the trivia road.
Hey, real quick, I'm reading the chat right now, and before we get to the names, Sandra just jumped in and said that she broke her foot yesterday.
Oh, Lordy. Sandra.
So she's not going to stay, but I wanted to give her a shout out. Happy Valentine's Day, Sandra. I was in the hospital myself yesterday, so
Lord.
I'm sorry to hear that, but thanks for popping in.
Yeah, good to see you, Sandra. Get well soon, babe.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
no kicking those ice banks, man.
I'm not the only one sporting ice packs these days. So.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well wishes to Alexia too.
Thank you. I appreciate that from you guys, as well as I've had just a ton of really amazing responses and stuff. You know, people that know me, my social media presence is I tend to deal with stress and things with humor, and I'll always kind of deflect with humor and stuff. But you know, there's nothing really funny about being in the emergency room for an emergency surgery that pops up, especially on Valentine's Day when it comes out of nowhere. So I play all the stuff off like I don't have a care in the world. That's my social media presence. But the truth of the matter is I appreciate every single message and text and comment that I got yesterday and today. We have some just amazing people that are friends of the show, and I can't thank you guys all enough. It really means a lot to both Alexia and I. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
And you stay away from her innards, Dr. Daly.
Yeah. Get well, everybody.
Yeah.
Alexia.
For real.
Absolutely. Um,
we got ourselves a nice little Halenville recovery unit going on.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
do, right? Right. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
actually about to be buried under snow. Sandra and I we're in the snow belt right now too. Tonight and tomorrow is gonna be buried.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
everybody in the Midwest, be prepared. Dress warm.
Again.
Again.
Yeah. And don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
kicking the
goodness.
snowbanks.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. Sandra, I did not know that. All right. Before we go any further, we're gonna
Open up the chat.
Yeah, let's do it. Right on. And right there at the bottom is our friend, our Van Halen brother, R2, R3, locking
What's
the
up,
nut,
R2?
dude.
What's up, buddy?
Janice Lala is in the house. What's up,
Janice?
Janice?
Janice.
Andy Carson is in the house.
Andy, what's going
I'm
on,
gonna
brother?
scroll up. I'm gonna try to. Sandra's there. Good to see her. Dan in New Jersey's at the bottom. What's up, Dan?
What's going on, man?
Yep.
All right, Lewis
Lewis at
Fairfield
Fairfield.
Guitars in the
Lewis
house.
is here. Yeah.
Kick ass.
Christopher
just how-
Live Bow in the house too.
Yes. So
Right on, bro.
We saw
Christopher
Mammoth
was
last night. Yeah.
he
Yes.
was at Mammoth
Yes.
in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
At the Fillmore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shared the videos.
Yeah, a lot of us were watching live while
That
he
was
was
so
doing
cool.
that. Thanks for filming, Chris.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
we're
Very
jealous, dude. I'm sure it was a
Thank-
great
Actually, and thank you for tagging all of us in it so we could all catch it
Yeah.
live too. Like
Thank
that
you.
was obviously what I was doing last night, so it gave me something to do and something to watch. I appreciate that. That was really
Yeah.
cool. Thinking of us. Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, always a
Did you grab a
pleasure
pic,
to
I
be
hope?
able to be able to watch Mammoth WVH live like
Yeah.
that on the internet.
That was cool. That was very cool.
With our friends, no
Mhm.
less.
Always
Andy
loved that
Carson
opening
in the
segment there, too.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Andy.
going on,
Yeah.
Andy?
Andy, I'm loving the t-shirt you sent me, bro. Thank you so much. Very cool.
Me too.
Ed Dubril in the house. What's up, Ed?
What's going on, Ed? Yeah,
Good
man.
to see Ed.
Ed
Robert
posted a
Ramp.
picture yesterday. Ed posted a picture yesterday of if in an alternate universe, if the basketball legends that we know played for the opposite teams and stuff. And there's a picture of Jordan with a Detroit Pistons jersey on. I spit out my coffee when I saw it. I was only Ed could do that.
I know. It was weird seeing Larry Bird in a Lakers jersey too.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Robert Ranford, what's up, dude?
Yeah,
Going on,
good
brother?
to see you guys. I'm going to scroll back down. How about it? If you're just hopping in, please say hello. It's Wednesday night. This is Halenville. We got a big unboxing.
Real
We're
quick,
gonna
Adam Roach popped in from
tonight.
down under, and he has logged into the chat in 2 different accounts. So I'm
quick thing on him. No, he also updated
Good
the
to see
interactive
Adam.
book.
Oh, cool.
Always.
Awesome.
Yeah. He just sent me an update on it in my messenger. So
Good. Very, very
anybody who's got it, it's going to be good. He's got some nice
Adam,
videos
Adam, I got a question for you, man. I see all the pictures you post every day and everything. Do you ever wear shoes? Do you own shoes? I'm curious.
I was wondering that too.
That dude's living the life of a beach bum, man.
Right?
If you got it like that, you got it.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Right on.
Absolutely. He's in the middle of summer, so.
Yeah, go check out Adam's site while we're talking about it. He adds every day to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's huge already. It is already literally a Van Halen universe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So go check out Adam's, you know. We want to look at that as a site that we can go to for all things Van Halen as reference.
That's the point.
You can lose yourself in that for a couple of days easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I know.
Yeah. But he's steadily adding to it.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. And yeah, right on,
Adam's
Adam.
little rabbit hole.
Yeah, Jeff K in the house. What's up, Jeff?
Okay, what's going on, man?
Yeah. All right. So let me say this to bring this up. This unboxing tonight, this guitar started as a 2019 Kramer Beretta Special reissue. Okay. Now, I got this thing and we unboxed this live here on the channel, me and Sandra and Brenda. And that's what it started as. Okay.
Yep.
And there's a link to that unboxing down below. I don't think the whole it was a off night, spur of the moment unboxing type of thing. I don't think it's even an hour long. But so it started that way, and I knew it was a guitar that I would use as something to mod. Knew it needed to be routed, with the Fender style trim that those come with. Um, so I didn't have this build specific in mind at first. I didn't. It dawned on me later that I was very fond of this multicolored tape guitar. This '83 Kramer Pacer is what it was, a purple two pickup that Eddie put tape on. He used it as a backup guitar in '82, and it only made one or two stage appearances.
Right.
But I always loved the guitar, but then it dawned on me that's what I'm going to do with this Kramer. And so me and Neil huddled up and yeah, we turned it into something else. Not completely.
Yeah.
And not exactly, but nevertheless, an idea that I had and knew that there was only one guy in the world who could attempt it who I know, and that's Neil. Um, but Neil ran into a whole movie script worth of problems
Yeah.
of his own in this build, and
Yeah, let me
so
jump in. Let me jump into that. Let's
yes,
talk about the process before we do the big unveil for everybody out there. We've hinted towards this a little bit. So for those of you that watch the show regularly, some of this stuff you may have heard before, but I'm going to go into some specific details about the process of this. First of all, I can't tell you how excited I am for this tonight. And the reason this has been a long time in the making is because I really wanted this to be done right. I really wanted this I don't do anything half-assed. That's not the way I am with my builds with any paying customer, but certainly not with a friend. And this was something that hadn't been attempted by really anybody else. There wasn't really a template to do this before, because as the people that are familiar with that particular guitar know, Eddie just wrapped that in electrical tape. That was what it was. It wasn't a paint job. It was wrapped in multicolored electrical tape, which shifted and moved over time. So depending on when you see the picture, one of the white stripes might not be where you saw it before. So, and there's very few videos of this. So when Tony and I first came up with the idea, one of the things I loved about this, and one of the things I love about my job, is that it's a process that, like, we're compatible. It's innovative, but we're working together. It's the kind of thing. He didn't just say, build me this guitar. This is something that we built together. And I mean that when I say that, because Tony bounced ideas off me left and right for a while, and I bounced ideas back off him. And we said, well, what if we try this? And I would try something and maybe it wouldn't work. And I'd tell him, hey, that's not going to work. Let's do this. So we were both a part of the process, and that's what makes it fun. Now, let's talk about the logistics of the build really quick. So Tony sent me this guitar, and I hate to say it because I never take this long for a build, but in the interest of full disclosure, he sent me this guitar in March of last year. And it was right after I just moved to Chicago from LA, because I remember during the time he was asking me, where do you want me to send it? And I
Right.
said,
You were just moving.
I had just moved, and I said, send it to my parents' house is where he actually sent it, because I didn't have a place yet. So that was a year ago. So we're doing this unveil almost, we're doing this 11 months later. So there's a reason for that. So let's talk about a little bit why. So first of all, so we get the guitar, and then we spent a good deal of time brainstorming, like I said, both of us bouncing off ideas off each other, because this was not the same body type as that original guitar was. It didn't have a second pickup route. This guitar he sent me wasn't routed for a Floyd, didn't have a locking nut. It had a Kramer curved headstock. So there were all kinds of things that were going to be different. So one of the common discussions that we had, and we had quite often, was how authentic to the original should we make this guitar, or how much should we play around with it and keep it in the same spirit of the original, but make it your own. And we, that was a common discussion, and we had a lot of fun talking about that. And I did mock-ups and drawings, and we shared pictures and stuff like that. And we talked about, should we route it for the second pickup, or should we just leave it as is? And there were all these things that we discussed. So that took probably, until we locked in a design for the guitar, it probably took another month or two. But then we kind of both settled in and agreed upon, let's keep this body type the way it is. Let's make it, he loved this Kramer Beretta style look, and the curved headstock and the single angled humbucker. He loved that look. So can we do this striped guitar, on that? Can we take the template that is the image of it, the aesthetic of it, and put it onto this guitar? And we both agreed, yeah, that'll be cool, because people haven't done that yet.
Right. So, those tape, not to interrupt, each stripe of tape goes around completely the whole guitar. Now there are, not to get ahead of Neil here, but there are two plates that he had to navigate over on this that I'm sure were not on the original as such, that had to be painted too, that were of different materials. So yeah.
So we worked on it. So the first thing I had to do was strip the finish off the guitar, sand it down, because it was heavily coated, and by the way, the Kramer Berettas, even the Beretta Specials, which aren't routed for Floyds, and they're fairly inexpensive guitars, it's a good sounding guitar. Let me say that, because I played it before I did anything to it. It's a good sounding guitar. So we discussed it, and we were going to try and keep as much of it as possible. We were going to leave the pickup was fine. So it was a good playable guitar as is. So sanded it down, stripped it, had to take the finish off the back of the neck, off the headstock, off the body, everything, and then route it for a Floyd. So then spent a couple of weeks doing measurements, and my rule of thumb is, they say in carpentry, they say measure twice, cut once. Well, I measure 3 times and cut once, just to make sure that because there's no turning back. There's no turning back if you get those post holes wrong. So finally got it to where we liked it. And then we started I started the process of trying to figure out how to paint this guitar, which there are very, very few replicas out there, if any. And going back a year ago, I hadn't seen anybody that had done one. So one of the original thoughts that Tony and I agreed upon was, what if we just wrap it with electrical tape like the original and clear coat it and seal it in? Seemed reasonable. There was, people have clear coated 5150 stickers on a guitar before. So it seemed like, oh yeah, that doesn't seem like it should be a problem. So we painted the guitar purple, wrapped the tape around. I sent him pictures along the way, got the stripes just right. And by the way, that is a nightmare in and of itself, because there's white stripes on the bottom, and then it goes yellow, orange, navy blue, white again. And then so it's really hard to visualize where these layers go. But I figured it out, and so I did it. Wrapped it up, and then spent some time spent about a month carefully light dusting, clear coating it, little by little, every day. What they don't teach you is that electrical tape stretches and moves and releases gases and all kinds of stuff. It's just not going to ever work under a sealant. This thing, if I would have sent it to him immediately right now, the guitar would not look the same today as it did when I sent it to him. It's just, it wouldn't happen. So after a little while of noticing this, the gases released and the stretching of the electrical tape, the clear coat started to pucker and wrinkle, and it looked like a raisin. So that wasn't going to work. So I sent him pictures and said, okay, that's not going to work. We got to figure this out. We're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to have to do it by paint. So then it was figuring out again, how can we try to make this as smooth as possible? Because I want crisp, sharp lines. But what we're talking about, when you're doing a 5150, you're basically doing a white layer of paint and a red-orange layer of paint, and that's it. So if you're looking at the difference in heights, you're talking about a fraction of a millimeter of an inch. So you can run your hand across it, and maybe you'll feel tape lines, but they're not going to be prominent. But if you're doing purple, white, orange, yellow, blue, white, all this stuff, now we're talking about the discrepancy from the topmost paint layer to the bottommost paint layer. You're going to feel quite a bit of difference over those, and it would be almost impossible to clear coat that and make it seamless so that you don't feel it. So there's got to be another way. So I finally mastered this trick after a lot of trial and error of, I would wrap the guitar, like whatever the base coat was. Let's say I started with white, and then wrap the tape around. That would be the next layer, which would be yellow. I would keep the tape on it and sand the guitar down without removing that layer of tape, so I could lower the height difference between that, and then wrap it again with tape, and then paint it orange, and then sand it now. So I was constantly kind of pushing the layers closer together like this. So after what I was really, really happy with, after doing that and feeling like, wow, this is really good, when I finally did the big unveil, the weird thing was, the first time I tried it, I unveiled all the tape, pulled it off, looked at it, and unfortunately, the layers were not in the correct order. So I'm looking at this guitar that looked pristine and perfect and gorgeous, but you've got a blue layer on the bottom, followed by an orange layer, followed by a yellow layer, and it worked backwards. So I was like, oh no, the blue layer is the second to the top most layer of tape if you look at the guitar. So sand it all down, start it over again. So now we're a couple months into the build. So now I'm thinking, okay, I've got it figured out. I've got the order figured out how to do this. The reality, though, is that if you want the navy blue layer to be up high on the tape order, it's got to be one of the first colors painted, because you're going to leave that tape on the longest. So then you're doing lighter colors over top of navy blue. So I did a whole run of this guitar in the correct order, but looked at it, and then the problem is the orange and the yellow were really murky and muddy looking because they weren't thick enough layers of paint, because you're painting lighter colors on top of a darker color. It's not like you were painting them on white. So that didn't work. That looked ugly. So scratch that, sand it all down, start over again. Then I went back to what I thought was kind of a simple solution, and I can't believe I never thought of this earlier. But the thing was, with the 5150 guitar, he's not doing a black layer of paint underneath first, and then followed by white, and then followed by red. He's doing the two lighter colors, white and red, and then just adding black last. So I said, okay, so what if I construct this paint order and keep all the white layers? I do a white base coat and just do yellow to orange to white again, and then I'll add blue after the fact. So it's not no lighter colors covering blue. And then I'll do purple last, that same type of thing. Finally, that seemed to work. Now, that was painstaking and ridiculously time consuming, because then once I've got the whole, like the white, purple, yellow, or the white, yellow, orange guitar looked awesome. But then I've got to wrap the entire guitar in tape and then just cut out where the blue stripes are going to be. And unlike the 5150, which has 6 stripes of black on the front and they don't overlap anything, they're always on top. Then I had to go through and do this. So I know this story is taking a lot longer and everybody wants to see the reveal, but I just
I'm enjoying this. Yeah,
I just want people to know how ridiculously hard this project was to take a full year of our lives when everybody was waiting for it. But so finally, let's cut to the chase. I get to the point where I do this unveil, and I was still doing my tricks with sanding the colors down before I pulled tape off. So I was still making sure that it was pretty smooth and even without, and I had to do touch up on certain lines. I had to go back with I had to go back and do some fine tuning with a hand paintbrush, really small paintbrush, just to correct some lines that might have bled out a little bit. But for the most part, I was extremely happy with the way it looked. And then we looked at it and then I said, okay, this thing's about ready to clear coat it. And then at the last minute, Tony and I talked and I remembered we wanted to make this one more original than the original. We were going to relic it. We were going to cut it up and put some wear on it. So then at the very last second, went back and realized, okay, where should we put some relicing? So we kind of mixed. We did a little bit of like some with the Frankie, some with the 5150, where the natural wear would be from the tape, from gaffer tape that you want to stick picks on. I added that. I did some work on the back and on the edges around the bottom where it would just be knocked and beat around, and then put some scratches and dings in it and did all this stuff. So this guitar is one of a kind, completely one of a kind. And the last thing I'll say before we get to this big reveal is the headstock didn't exist. There was no painted headstock in this version before because the purple Pacer that Eddie had a Stratz headstock, a maple headstock. Mm-hmm. No paint, no color, no nothing. So this was the one thing that Tony and I then decided, okay, well, this is going to make this guitar 100% original. There is nothing like this out there. So I did mock-up after mock-up after mock-up and tried to match the layering and the tape order to the guitar to see if it was all done at the same time, what would it look like, and did a bunch of that. And then I had to figure out where I was going to put the Kramer logo. And Tony and I had decided kind of early on that gold accents would be great on the purple guitar. It just looked very regal. It was nice. Those two colors popped together. Yeah. So we decided we were going to do gold tuners, gold Floyd, gold locking nut, gold input jack. That's what we were going to do. So I decided then what I wanted to do, I tracked down that, and I have guys that make me my water slide logos for the headstocks all over the place. But the gold block Kramer logo from the 80s with black outline that Eddie put on the Tom Anderson Frankie neck, which was only added for that short period of time, but it had gold writing with black outline. That was the missing piece for this particular headstock. So I found it, got it, put it on. We covered it with clear coat. It's divoted, it's banged up, it's beat up. It looks like it's been played and played hard. And then right before I shipped it, Tony goes, hey, because I had gotten the strap buttons that were gold. And Tony goes, I only have one strap and it has the eye hooks thing. Can we get some gold eye hooks? And I was absolutely. That makes so much more sense. Went to Lowe's, they had goldish brass eye hooks and washers. I put that in the front and the back and then boxed it up and shipped it, and it got there yesterday. So that, my friends, thank you for listening and enjoying this journey. That was the last 11 months of life of this purple guitar, and I'm so excited that with all the work that I put in, all the time I put in, all the waiting patiently that Tony did on the, I want to say, I wouldn't have sent it to him if I wasn't happy with it. I'll be totally honest with you guys. I would have made everybody wait. I would have made him wait because I couldn't send this to a friend if I wasn't cool with it. So
yeah, this guitar definitely has had an incredible journey.
Yes,
just for its birth, where it began. It started here, and it was just an idea. And this was right as you were moving
Yeah.
So you're just getting married, you're just moving, you've moved across the country now.
Yep.
And on this particular build, the roadblocks that you encountered with the striping and the tape with the clear coat, it didn't look good, like it was even going to happen or possible.
Yeah.
But after, like you say, a couple of goes with this process of paint,
Yeah.
we
It just,
we
yeah. I
knew
mean,
that,
it eventually, the stars aligned, and all of a sudden, when it came together, there was a moment where I looked at it and I'm like, that's it. Like it's just, there's just a moment where you look at it that you're like, okay, I forgot all about the previous 9 months that I'd hated this guitar. And it got to the point where I was like, oh my God, this is a piece of art. This is fantastic. And
Yeah.
so it's, that's the weird thing about this journey is, it's, once I was done and I was able to box it up and send it to you and you were excited and I posted some pictures of it, I forgot all about how hard it was to do. All this, then you forget about the journey. It's just like, oh yeah, it's done. It's great. Let's show it.
yeah. Well, this I had the guitar, I guess, for not quite a year as a new guitar, and it played great.
Mhm.
But I knew I was going to do something to it. Yeah, I'm going to try to shift myself around here.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
we
I
got
want to
right.
both of
throw out
those.
there really quick before you unveil it, or you can start opening it up if you want. I think it's really apropos tonight that if everybody in the chat looks, Tony's hat, he's got the peace sign on his hat, on his beanie that he's wearing, and he also sent me a handful of gold stickers with those, and he was like, "Hey, if there's a way to somehow secretly like put these on the guitar, that would be cool because that's kind of my thing. If not, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal, but it would be cool if we could." And again, full disclosure, in the early version, one of the early versions of the guitar, I did use that. I did use one of his stickers and found a place on the back of the body where it looked good. And then unfortunately that we had to scrap that whole idea and I lost that sticker permanently. But it's fine because I found a place for it on the headstock, and you guys will have to look and see when he finally shows it. There's a spot where there's a small one on it. And then the very last thing I did was I took the two cavity covers that go on the back, the plastic, the trem claw cavity and the electronics cavity, and I laid them out and took pictures of where they went and visualized where the stripes would go if they were painted on. And then I took them and did this whole process that I did with the guitar. And this is after the fact. The guitar was already done. And then I took those into my paint booth and I went line by line and measured them perfectly and laid them and then did the same thing. Painted it, kept the tape on, put the next layer of tape, next layer of tape, next layer of tape, and then took them all off and then put those on the back of the guitar, and it looks like that whole thing's wrapped in the same stripes. Like you would never know that they weren't a part of it.
That's so freaking badass. How hard was it to do the purple alone? After doing all the striping, though, that must have been the worst.
Yeah, that was well. Let me tell you too. It's weird trying to find the right colors. Like those electrical tape things, they're easy to find. That those 4 colors of electrical tape, you can find them anywhere. But to find
those are
paint
common.
that matches that is going to be hard. And then the other thing was the original guitar, the purple shade of the original guitar was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous purple.
Mhm.
So I wanted to match that as much as possible so that in theory, I wanted people to think it looked so good that they wouldn't know that I even painted it purple. I wanted them to
Yeah.
think I just added stripes on the guitar Tony sent me
Right.
because that purple was so pretty.
And
Yeah,
there were very few pictures of the guitar in purple alone.
Yes. Yeah.
Only pictures known are the ones when he was performing with Alan Holdsworth.
yeah. Let me ask you this, Neil. On those 2 plates, was your process painting doing just those 2 plates? Were there any roadblocks? Did it it being a different type of surface, did the paint accept well?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. What I did was I sanded up because there was a finish on the plastic too. So I kind of sanded that off just so the paint would stick to it. And we're talking about less surface area. So I got to go lighter with the coats. Even though it was a black plate, a black plastic plate, the white covered it with one quick coat. I didn't have to go real heavy with it because the other thing I didn't want the paint, the plates to stick a quarter of an inch higher off the back.
Right.
I wanted it to feel flat on the back. So the plates surprisingly turned out really easy. The hard part was just lining up the stripe pattern to get that to match. But once I did, painting it and sanding it. And again, the cool thing about this guitar was the back is supposed to look relict. It's supposed to look relic, like it's been worn against your body and your belt buckle the whole time. So it just worked out. It wasn't as hard as you'd think.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna
Let's go.
cut my camera off because I got to stand up. I got to take these headphones off, and I want to get this ready. Give me 1
Yeah,
second.
man.
Careful with your hips.
Yes. Robo cake.
Yeah. So, well,
Man.
in the meantime, while we're waiting too, I've been blessed with some really cool builds, thinking outside of the box builds, which I'm happy that I'll get to unveil coming soon. I'm starting to get orders now that are people interested outside of the traditional replicas, and that's exciting to me. That's really exciting. There was a I don't want to take time away from Tony if he has it, but there's a Zeke Clark Kramer replica that was auctioned off recently, and it was supposedly a backup on the 5150 and OU812 tour. The serial plate on the back is F1021, and that's how people claim that guitar. And there's a whole bunch of stories about that, and they're saying it was used often. I don't necessarily agree with that. So the story behind that guitar, I don't know what's true and what's not. However, that's irrelevant to me because some guy said that he loved the look of that guitar and wanted me to build in that one. So I've got a mock-up of that right here.
Nice.
This is what we're doing. It's different. It's worn. It's got the same, kind of elbow wear. This black line actually needs to be sanded down a little bit more to white. The auctioned guitar doesn't show as much black there. But the stripe pattern is the same, and it had a front and back striped headstock, which not many of Eddie's guitars, his Kramer's, not many of them had both the front and back striped. This one, I think the Hot for Teacher might have been like one of the only ones. But this one is going to have that same type of thing, and it's almost done. But this guitar, I think, is really cool, and I love it when people get me to think outside of the box, outside of the traditional replicas that we do all the time. I'm doing a James Hetfield from Metallica, Kill 'Em All Flying V for somebody, which is going to be sick. Now that one's going to take some time because there's a lot of hand-drawn stuff on that. James Hetfield scribbled a lot of stuff on that guitar, including a middle finger being flipped off on the back. But it is awesome, and I'm excited to do that one. I'm doing one for our dear friend Charles Green, who is no longer on the show, but he has me doing something very, very interesting, which could be the coolest relicking I've ever done. So he has a Wolfgang body and a Wolfgang neck. Sent it to me. He wants to assemble the guitar entirely himself. So I'm just doing the paint job on it. But we all know from previous shows, Charles' infatuation for relicking. And excuse me. So we're doing what was going to be a bumblebee on the wolf body and neck. So it was going to be like a bumble wolf type thing. We ended up deciding on relicking showing more wood than I've ever shown on a guitar that I've done for him. And that's saying a lot. So we went way deep on it, stained the body so we could get a really good wood shade out of it. And now we've decided we might be calling this the Murder Hornet. I'll show you this.
Oh my God.
And wait till you see the back.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the way you relic. Yeah.
Yep. And
That's
then we
some
got it,
serious
and it
buckle
goes
ash.
all the
Yeah.
way around. Like
I
every
like the way you
spot
did
that
the
would have
edges.
banged,
Yeah. The tip of the
every
horn.
spot that
Yeah.
would have banged into something.
Yeah.
Like,
Look at
look,
that.
we've
Oh
just
yeah.
got a ton of wood grain showing on this.
Mhm.
And
Is
it's
that
a
going to get
beast.
buttons or is that going to get eye bolts?
No, he's going to get eye bolts as far as I know,
Okay.
but the rest is up to him though. Cause I even asked him, like, what are we going to do? Black hardware? You want to do chrome hardware and stuff like that? And he said, no, he's got everything laid out. He just wants me to paint it. But I should also point out too, real quick, it's not a replica of the Bumblebee because he had me add specific things that aren't on the original because we, like, for example, the back up here, this doesn't exist on the Bumblebee, the spider webbing up here.
Right.
And we're going to add a Black Widow spider in the yellow that I'm going to add, like a silhouette of a spider. And we're doing the same thing on the headstock. So this is a headstock that doesn't exist anywhere else. This is original, but we're taking this and making it spider webbing. And so we added more than what's on the original. And I think the relicking of this guitar turned out fantastic. It's one of the things I'm the most excited about. And it's always scary when you're like, okay, do you want that much wood showing? Do you want that? Are you sure? Because you got to think in the back of your mind, it's like, if all of a sudden we go too far, then I got to start all over and then paint it all over again. And Charles, to his credit, the one thing he always says is he goes, nope, go farther, go to the line that you think is too much and go a little bit farther. That's what he always says. So yeah. I'm so excited about this and I can't wait to get this to him. I personally wish I was assembling the guitar and putting it together myself because there's a lot I would do with it, but he wants to do it himself and I'm excited to see the finished product. So that's I just got to add a spider to it and I'm going to send that out to him. So you guys will hopefully get to see that at some point. I'll get pictures.
Right on.
Cool. Yeah.
Can't
hey,
wait.
Quick question on that headstock. Is that a scooped out PV headstock?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if I can angle it.
Okay. I thought when I first looked at it, I thought it was the old style Predator. Okay. Yeah. Now you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool. That is badass.
Yeah. It's cool. It's really cool. And and that's one of the things too. And props to Chris Locke, who does all my bodies and stuff like, his necks and everything. The wood grain took to a stain really well. Cause it was a basswood body and it was light and it was kind of pale, very maple looking. And Charles and he said he wanted to show wood, but he wanted to show wood that had aged like the rest of the guitar. That's one of the things that I'm very conscious of. If I'm saying, all right, if we're going to show this much wood, then that means this guitar has been played for about 40 years. Like you have to imagine in your head. So the yellow is going to be a dingier yellow than the average Bumblebee. And the black is going to be a matte black. It's not going to be glossy. That would be impossible. I think all these steps in advance. And I wanted the wood. So I stained the wood before I did it. This antique wood stain, and it just popped. The wood grain is beautiful. So again, props to Chris Locke as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you stained the wood on that. Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. So I was able to get into this thing.
Let's
pretty
do it.
much. So I sent it in a case. It's not like this guitar was wrapped in a bunch of stuff that.
Nope. Didn't have any styrofoam peanuts in this one.
Yes, I'm glad. Thank you for that. But yeah. All right. So let me go to.
Yeah.
All right. How about it?
Are
we ready? The big reveal.
The big reveal. Bring it.
Let's just say some people go to the ice cream truck that comes around the corner and they get the bomb pops. Some people like the dum-dums. Some people like push-ups. Some people like just traditional ice cream sandwiches. After tonight, you're all gonna crave a fruit sickle. Let's just say that.
Sickle. That's right.
Yeah.
So this, So this.
You'll be busy
let me
then.
show you how this thing looked originally when I got it a couple of years ago, and we unboxed it. And we're unboxing it again. Looks a little different. All right.
Makeover
Check it
time.
out.
Oh my God. Look at that.
There she is.
Jeez.
There she is.
Wow, that thing pops.
All right.
I love how you even did the tape relic for the picks, for the guitar picks.
Yeah, that was a Tony must-have.
Nice. Very smart, Tone.
Yeah. It didn't
Oh,
need
it's
a
got a
whole
drop
lot
D.
of.
It's got a D-tune on it.
It's got the
Nice.
D-tuner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a gold D-tuner added to that.
Very nice. And yeah, that was smart doing the eye bolts in brass.
Yep, it was. It really was, and that was it's something that I'm so thankful Tony mentioned it to me before I sent it, because I completely I just dropped the ball on that. Didn't even think about it, and then he was like, "Let's do that."
Smart. Yep.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome.
Exactly. Beautiful, beautiful work. Wow. You relic the neck as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Got some filth in it. So now look, what you're looking at right now is there's a cavity cover. There's 2 cavity covers on the back. That's the thing that at first glance you don't notice it. You just don't even see it. And that was the whole plan, to be honest with you.
Wow. That is so badass.
And the cool thing is, over time, as Tony plays it, that cavity cover, the top where the buckle rash is underneath the curve, that is going to wear off the cover anyway, just from playing it and sitting in his lap. So that's going to actually dissipate, and then, yeah, or like Eddie, he doesn't have to keep it on. He could take it off if he wants. Yeah, that's entirely up to you.
Right on.
Such great work, man. Holy crap.
I really want you guys to see this headstock, though, because this was a lot of fun. This was so freaking fun to come up with a design.
Trivia question on this.
Oh, sure.
The neck plate.
Yeah.
Did that have a specific serial number?
Not one that I found. And so in the interest of keeping costs down as well, we went with as much original to the guitar he sent me. So that's actually, that's the neck plate that was on his guitar.
Okay, cool.
And and the pickup is the same. And we opted to go with a Floyd Rose, a special in gold, because that saved him $200. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, there were a lot of, this thing can always be hot rodded. He can upgrade it as need be going forward, but we kind of wanted to keep it as true to, and, you know, do as little as possible. You know, the only thing with the pickup, I just took the frame off, you know, that was it, and made it look more like Eddie's, you know, which very few of them had the actual plastic cover.
So you installed the black tone knob.
Yeah. Yeah, I did swap his volume knob for a tone knob. That much is true. Tony, show us the headstock, though. All
right, here we go.
Let's take a look at this.
All right.
Oh my God. Delicious.
And that was fun. And actually, I did there was a picture I sent Tony of where there was one mock-up I did of the headstock where the orange stripe underneath the R in Kramer was prominent over white. And so the R disappeared. And I realized after I sent him the picture, I wanted to be able to see the whole word Kramer. So I just corrected that with white so that the Kramer fit perfectly on that white stripe. And the rest of the stripes overlap in the exact same order that they do on the body.
That is so cool. Damn, great job. Did you do both sides on that?
Yep, show the back. And this is where Tony's private little secret peace sign comes into play.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Right at the top. Yeah, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, and the tape lines they wrapped around just like the body. Just this work. This man. It's, you know, it's hard to kind of describe, but it's like I've never seen something so ugly look so beautiful, if that makes sense. You know, it's like when you take something like this and you beat the hell out of it and you rough it up and you nick it and you scratch it and it was, you know, you take some of the glossy sheen off it and all this stuff. Yeah, but it's a work of art. You know,
Like
it's a
Frankie.
Jackson Pollock. It's a Van Gogh. It's
So
what do
I
you think?
can't feel any tape lines at all.
that was the plan.
None.
That was the
None.
plan. And
Zero.
that took some time. That was a
Smooth.
lot of careful covering.
Everything is, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
But
feel
most
it.
importantly, folks, I mean, aside, I'm no longer tooting my own horn anymore. Right now, with this, the one thing I knew was that this is going to a very dear friend of mine that is going to play it and is going to love it, and so it had to be right. And I really, really wanted Tony to be happy with this. And
Yeah. And that's so trippy though that you did the purple last.
yeah, it's
before your relics, but you did it
You
last.
did the base purple last.
yes,
That's
purple was the
wild.
very last thing I added,
Wow.
even after the top layer of white, because
That's
there's
what
white
made
that
it all level,
overlaps.
right?
Yes,
That's
it's mind blowing how many failed attempts it took me to actually get the order right. And then, like I said before, there was a blue layer underneath before where I did the tape layers right. But if the navy blue paint was covering the whole body underneath, the orange and the yellow looked uglier. They just didn't pop. They didn't look. So I knew I had to do orange and yellow over top of white only to get those colors to pop. And then come back and add blue last, independently of everything else, which was such a nightmare to do. But man, yeah, and then adding the D-tuna and everything, like, setting it up, having it fit, my measurements worked out just right. Thank God, it's intonated right, and you can detune it and everything. It's, oh man.
So tell us, what did you have to do now? The paint and the tape layers gave you the trouble. You knew what work was cut out. You knew what your work was as far as routing. What did you have to do in here, Neil?
Okay, so the first thing I had to do with, I took, obviously, whenever you're measuring to route for a Floyd Rose, you measure, it's a 25.5-inch scale length from the locking nut to where the string saddles would be, where the strings hit the saddle. So that's what you want to do. So the weird thing about Fender standard tremolos is the trem oval right here where the block goes in is much smaller and centered for a Floyd. So it's not gonna. You can't put a Floyd in there and have it be centered. It would be too far to the left because the bar takes up too much space on a Floyd Rose. So I knew I had to cut out about 1/8 of an inch out of the back of it and go about 1/4 of an inch farther to the right to be able to fit that in. So the first thing I did was I took a pattern off of other guitar bodies that are routed for Floyds, and I measured it to the T, like exactly. And I sketched it out and drew a template that was actual size, and then took that and then routed that hole out underneath the Floyd Rose, which you can't see, thank God, because it's crude. It's not perfect, but the bottom line is it had to be intonated.
wow.
So I cut out the piece I cut out the hole so that it was big enough to fit like a block in there, a bigger block, and it was routed for a Floyd that could move and go forward and back and have the bar on the right. Once that was all done, then I had to come back and then figure out where the post holes were going to be so that it could be, again, perfectly intonated, so that you could still push down on the bar, and it's not the block when you dive bomb. The block has to have room in the back,
Right.
where it's not going to press up against it. Otherwise, you're not going to have any room. And it's still a disdain tune. So again, measurement over and over and over again until I was confident with what I did. And then I drilled my holes and then threw caution in the wind and said, okay, let's paint this and hope it works.
Yep.
And it's luckily, you have to be meticulous. You have to scrutinize over these things to get it right when you're routing for a Floyd and a guitar that hasn't been routed before. You may measure the exact same thing 10 times and think to yourself, okay, that's close enough. But no, you can't be close enough. Somehow, Eddie Van Halen's Frankie was never intonated correctly, and there's not a single person on the planet that could have played that guitar besides him. Somehow he was able to do it. But tech after tech after tech said, I don't know how you were able to keep this guitar and play this. Nobody was. It's mind-blowing how impossible it is. So every time I thought, it's close enough. That's pretty good. I think I'm good. I would measure it again and do it again just to make sure that this thing looked like it came off a factory shelf.
What'd you have to do up here?
So it had a regular bone nut in there, and I knew I needed more space. So what I chiseled away the piece where the bone nut slipped in, and then realized that the depth it took way too much depth out of what would be the locking nut. In other words, it took about maybe an eighth of an inch went too deep into the headstock, whereas I've dropped the locking nut in there, the strings would rub against the frets. It would buzz. So I just had to shim that with another piece of maple. Okay. And luckily the guy that does my setups, my guy Frank, who at Aurora Guitar in my town here, who does all my last looks, everything, I bring everything to this guy because I love having a second set of eyes on everything I do. He's phenomenal, and he's a huge, we should have him on the show one of these days because he loves our music. He loves his Floyds. He loves his Kramers. He loves Van Halen. He's a good guest for a future show. But he knew exactly what we were going after with this, so he's perfect. It's like he and I are on the same wavelength. He's my second set of eyes, and he knew exactly what I needed. I was like, action, let's keep the action low. Let's keep it a fast neck. I just need this locking nut to be just above, let's be able to, not even a credit card underneath the frets.
Just above buzz.
Yeah, just above buzz. And he's got my back 100% of the time. So.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Yep.
Right
so
on,
that's
man.
just a maple shim under there.
It's gorgeous, dude. Just absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely stunning, man.
Yeah, man.
Bravo.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Neil.
Bravo. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers. Yeah.
I
Cheers
appreciate that,
man.
you guys. I thank you, Keith. Thank you, Tony. And I can honestly say, without exaggeration, this is the hardest guitar that I've ever worked on. That I've spent more time and energy on this build than anything else. And carrying that forward, it's probably the thing I'm the most proud of because of how hard it was to get it right. And if Tony's happy, I've done my job.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
you set
wait
the bar,
to plug this sucker in. Yeah, dude.
You set the bar high, bro.
You know what the funny thing is? The irony is, now that I finally figured all this stuff out and I've got the template, the next time somebody ever comes to me and says, hey, build me Tony's guitar, I guarantee you it'll flow perfectly. It'll be done in no time.
Yeah.
I've done all the legwork now.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's.
Did you record it all?
No, I did just. No, but I've got photo evidence of every single step along the way too. Like I could show you pictures. I could show you pictures of where it puckered with the electrical tape under clear coat, and then I've got some gorgeous pictures of when the tape lines were just not in the right order, and I was like, oh my god, I thought I was done, and it's like, oh shit. It's like, so yeah. But this, and I don't know if everybody, everybody's got to have their own opinions. I really do agree with Tony. I think the gold hardware looks killer on this purple guitar.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that looks killer. So, other people may disagree. And there's other people that may say like, oh my God, why'd you relic it? It looked great before and everything. It's like, hey man, it's a Frankenstein of the purple striped multicolored tape guitar.
That's right. This was a backup guitar that he played a lot backstage in tuning room.
Yeah.
That would have some relicking here, but not a whole lot up here on normal, but have it here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
and you only saw it on stage a few times.
Yeah.
Most of the time he would play it at the end of the show.
Now we elected to keep the same shaped headstock
Yep.
and do a mock-up of all of these colors in the spirit of how Eddie, of his headstocks that are striped like this, how he stripes them. I think it looks awesome.
Right. That looks like the headstock paint scheme of the Tom Anderson, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Very, very similar with the white block where the letters go and then the other thing. Yeah, it was very similar. The only thing I didn't do, and I toyed with the idea of using different size tape, maybe making thinner lines on the headstock. I toyed with that idea, but then I thought there's no thinner lines on the body. I really
Right.
wanted to make it look like it was, and again, there's no right or wrong answer to this because no one's ever done it. So this was just completely like at my discretion. But I talked to Tony a lot about it. He worked with me during the process, and the one thing we said is let's make it look like the headstock and body were done at the exact same time, and I think it works.
Yeah. I got another question for you, and just keep
Yeah.
that up there, Tony. How difficult was it to find pictures of the back of this guitar?
Oh God, honestly, it's extremely difficult, and boy, oh boy, there's very few pictures of the actual back of the guitar. There's a few people that have done replicas where you can find the backs of the replicas made, like Rob Johnson has
Right.
had one made. There's people that have made replicas, so you can base it off of them and hope that they're accurate. There's very, very few. I think I found like one picture of the back of the guitar, like sitting up against a post in a tuning room or in a backstage or something like that.
Right.
And a lot of times you have to you have to wrap your head around simple geometry, and say, all right, if I'm looking at the front of the guitar and I know that all this was one piece of tape, like
Right.
the blue is one piece of tape that goes around. It's not like multiple pieces of blue.
Right.
So what you have to do is then figure out if there's a start point on the right and an end point on the left, and you're using that. So where would it naturally go around the back? And you have to just use your imagination and geometry. It's like doing math problems.
You have to think like Ed did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
he just winged it.
It's insane how he probably didn't think twice about this stuff. And I spent a year of my life doing it.
It looks like, looking at it on the screen, and it looked like from the photographs a couple of days ago that the tape lines were well defined and you could possibly feel them. But I assure you that this is smooth as can be everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then after everything was done there, Neil, you just compounded it.
Yeah.
Put some rubber compound on there. And,
Yeah, I did. I did all the exact
yeah.
same stuff. This probably, I probably have more layers of a satin clear coat. I didn't want to make it glossy because that wouldn't match with Relic.
Right.
So I did like a bunch of layers of a satin clear coat to kind of seal in what we did, and then make it smooth to the touch so you don't feel the tape lines. And then sanded that down immensely, and then used a rubbing compound polish, like a car wax kind of polish, and rubbed it on and let it dry, hung it for a little while, and kept coming back to it. And I mean, when you spend a year of your life working on this one guitar, you keep coming back to it every day, and you're like, what could I do differently? Oh wait, is it missing this? Is it missing that? And everything. And then there comes a point where you just kind of say, no, it's done. And it's like, no, it's done. And there was once I was like, okay, now I got to tune it. Now I got to set it up. I got to plug it in, and I got to listen to it. And it's like, okay, that's it. And then, then at a certain point, you got to release it to the world and give it to Tony and say, now it's yours. Tony, you may spend the next 6 months, reconfiguring the setup. You may raise the Floyd, lower the Floyd, figure it out, like tweak the neck, like drop the shim. There's all kinds of stuff you will do to your style of playing. You got to make it your own. But the bottom line is now, it's something that I was happy to release to Tony. I don't say this as an exaggeration. Like I don't ever put a guitar out there in the world that I wouldn't want to play myself.
I know you are super proud of this. I'm super proud of this. To think that this was my Kramer just a
Yeah.
few short months ago. My goodness. Yeah.
It's fucking believable, man.
I can't believe it. You know, when we first started about this multi-tape guitar, I knew that it wasn't a Beretta
Yeah. Right. Right.
or a Pacer rather, you know. And I did want a Floyd
Yeah.
in there. It was either that or make it a hardtail. But what was stock in there wasn't going to stay, you know.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who
But
wants a rocking chair?
yeah, I really wanted to keep the same spirit of the original guitar with the one pickup,
Mm-hmm.
to do the stripes as they would be if Ed's didn't have two pickups. Um,
Yeah.
and the headstock. Now this was fun, and the fact that you could have left it purple.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I've seen people who have made these multicolored tape guitars out of this Kramer Beretta Special
Mm-hmm.
and left the headstock purple. Did the stripes on the body, but to do it like this with all the colors, I thought was the appropriate way to go, and gold hardware there as well.
Yep.
And the gold water slide too.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was a nice touch that I think it like everything kind of came together because obviously it would have been real easy to use a black, Kramer water slide, something
Right.
like that or
Yeah,
whatever,
the
or just
standard
the old,
82 type, yeah.
yeah, the standard. But the original, if on Tony's original purple that he had, the Beretta Special, it had that kind of block lettering on it. And I'm like,
Right.
wow, that would really look good with this color scheme. There's just certain things about it.
Yeah,
There's,
it did look the
who would have,
same almost. Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
yeah, it's
Yep.
almost the same. There's a little bit of black trim on mine. Mine's the same. The one that I added is just the same that he had on the Tom Anderson neck when he did the Frankie. But
Right.
Mhm.
I just thought, there's so many things about it that just popped. And it's, boy, I mean, I can't think of any other way to describe it, but there's just moments where the stars align and the planets align and everything kind of comes together. There was there were moments in the last year where I just hated this guitar. I just hated it. And I wanted it done and just out of my basement kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, then there's moments where I'm like, aha, where it's like, oh, and then you like do something new, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks good. And then
Yeah.
when I started getting the gold hardware and just did mock-ups of it, I laid the gold hardware out on the purple guitar, and I was like, oh my god, that looks good. That looks good right there, and there's no stripes on it yet. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but this was truly, this was truly something that Tony and I worked on together. This was not entirely my build. This wasn't like something that I just did on my own. Tony and I, we worked together hand in hand on this, and he saw every step and every hiccup and every speed bump along the way. And to his credit, he was patient. There were some text messages that I got, I'll be honest with you, where Tony was like, I kind of want this done, like, where are we? And that's fair. That's fair. But he, he wanted to play his electric guitar. He wanted it back. And I just kept saying, I can't give it back to you until I'm happy with it. And
Yep.
that's where we're at. And
Yeah, you after the tape and you knew it was going to be all paint.
Yeah.
But to not have a gazillion layers of paint over each
Yes.
other.
Yes, and
That
that
is
was the one
ingenious,
thing
and
that was the one thing that I thought just wouldn't fly is if you ran your hand on it and you felt every single layer of stripe. The blue would be about an eighth of an inch higher than the lowest white. I'm like, that's not going to work. You're not going to play that guitar.
Mikey Mojo wants you to light it up already.
I know.
Come on, fire it
Wait,
up, man.
I'll
Let's hear that thing
probably
crank.
light it up before I go to bed, and
Well,
not.
in all fairness to me as the builder, that thing's
gotta
been in
get
a
the jewel
box
up
for
at
2 weeks
first.
too. So I want to make sure that has time to settle. Let the string settle and let that thing get in tune. Don't plug it in right now because that's gonna make me look bad. I want
It ain't gonna be
I want him
long.
to tune it.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mikey Mojo, I
no,
appreciate you, bro, but no, I want him to have some time with that first.
this is
Yeah.
gorgeous, man.
He's gonna sleep with that fucker tonight.
This is
He's gonna get a stank on it.
Yeah.
this was there was nothing wrong with the guitar before,
No,
I
it
mean,
sounded good. It sounded good. I liked the pickup in that Kramer
yeah,
Beretta special.
me too.
Yeah.
They sell a lot of them things,
Yeah.
but I knew I wanted to do something, and so this is what
Yeah.
after its long journey, and between between you moving and all that, and how the tape that this almost didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you can feel this guitar, you feel no paint lines, none.
Nice. Tea cake, how's the neck feel?
It feels like Neil's played the hell out of it since I've played it.
I did play it a lot more in the last year than you did, that's for sure.
It feels a little played.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it
Good.
does.
That's what it's supposed to, man.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I
that looks
wanted.
beautiful.
That's the other thing too, though, is when Tony was messaging me all along, being like, "Hey, I want to plug in my guitar. I want to play my guitar and everything." That's different than the average person saying, "Oh, I want this back so I can hang it on a wall." That's a little different. No, I'm serious. So I kind of thought, okay, this is every guitar I build for somebody. When I give it to them, I want that to be suddenly their favorite guitar,
Yeah.
and it's like the shiny new toy every Christmas, the shiny new toy kind of thing. And I thought, okay, I really, in a perfect world, when I got this to Tony, I would be like, this would be his favorite guitar, and I want him to play this the most until the next guitar.
Right.
But
Well, my playing, all my axes are here in a rack, but I play in the next room, and there's two guitar stands, and one will stay, two will stay for a week or two or whatever. But I've had one stand in there empty and vacant for a few months, waiting.
A reserved parking space.
A reserve spot. Yeah, I do. Absolutely. Today is, Thank you, Neil. Dude, thank you.
pleasure.
Now you got to get a little gold pleat for it right there where you put it on the rack. Reserved for fruit sickle.
Yes.
I don't think that this is going to see the rack for the next year.
That's what I want to hear, brother. That's what I want to hear, man.
Yeah.
I think it's great that we coined the phrase "the fruit sickle." I think that is fantastic. By the way, that's trademarked. This show is in the public domain, so that name is trademarked now.
Yeah, it is. There you go.
Because
you can't go with
I've
fruit
never
stripes
named
after
a
the
guitar
gum.
before, but that's her name, the fruit sickle.
Yeah, you can't go with fruit stripes after the gum because that's already taken.
Yeah.
So fruit sickle is perfect for that.
The fruit sickle. Right on. I knew we had this big unboxing tonight. Did I tell you we have a little unboxing, another regular unboxing too? I didn't tell you. I'm telling you.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. So I almost forgot about that, Keith.
I didn't.
Oh, you did. You would have
No, I didn't. No, I
surely
didn't.
reminded me. Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's do. What we'll do.
Hey guys, real quick. I've got to bounce real quick. I appreciate, everybody in the chat and Tony and Keith. This was a lot of fun, but my wife unfortunately was in the hospital yesterday and I got to go take care of her and check on her and do some things. So, I'm going to bounce out of the show tonight, but I look forward to seeing you guys next week and I will catch the rest of the show on the rerun. The almost impossible trivia is really good tonight. So enjoy it, folks. Good luck to whoever gets it. To Keith, to Charles, to everybody in the chat, or Tony, to Sandra, to everybody, Mikey Mojo. Let's see who else we got tonight. We got a lot of people in there. Love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Glad you guys got to see the unveiling of the Fruitsicle. And Tony, we'll talk. We'll talk soon, okay? And I'll join you guys next week.
Thank you, Neil. Good to see you.
Be good, brother. Love you. Thank you so much.
Right on, guys.
Great
Daly
job.
Custom
Phenomenal
Designs.
job.
Neil's links are down below, by the way. So go, you can find, let me get out of here. I'm trying to, there we go. All right. So Neil's links are down below. Daly Custom Designs. You can find a regular neildaly.com if you just want to type that in, or there is a Facebook site and you see his lovely gallery.
Yeah. I feel like I'm behind bars. Get me out of here.
Am I bringing up old bad memories, Keith?
No.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. Like in the movie, better get used to these bars, kid.
Yeah. Look who's
Yeah.
talking. Oh, no, that's
All
Back to
right.
the Future. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if you're just joining us, it's nice to see you guys. Gretch Zeppelin, John Ziti 351, Ed, Mikey
Yeah.
Mojo, Dwight the Hitman Bailey. Good to see you guys.
Paulie
We're
Walnuts.
gonna hang out tonight. Yeah.
Yo, Paulie. What's up, brother?
We got an unboxing too that I'm gonna get to. Very fitting unboxing on tonight's show. We're gonna stroll down the road of Van Halen, nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. Yeah, we are. All right. We're going to toss you a $1 million bill that looks just like that, and we're going to give you a actual 1971 D quarter in a little protective little thingy like that.
Yep.
Comes wrapped like a lollipop, we'll say. I know what you were thinking, but nah. All right, so are we ready? Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia for tonight. There's an email down below where you'll find trivia winners' email that you email me your name and address if you are the winner, and I'll mail you this stuff out tomorrow. All right. So, Keith, we had a couple of questions prepared for him tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Do we want to do the 12-footer, or do we want to do the diver down one?
I think we should do the diver down one.
All
considering this is a 1982 themed show, with the Fruitsicle. Yeah, that's why I wore the shirt.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's thinking.
Yeah.
That's why I wore this 1993 shirt. Yeah. All right. It's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
It's difficult, though. So
nearly impossible.
Yeah, it's nearly impossible.
Nearly.
Yeah.
because we're diver down theme tonight.
Let me, so we saw our friend Mikey Mojo in the chat. Let me show you something that I don't have in here yet, Keith.
Okay.
That I'm loading in now. Speaking of Mikey Mojo, next week here on the programming, we're going to have Mikey Mojo in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's going to be fun.
Look at that, Mikey. You got your own logo going.
Yeah, he does, dude. Mikey Mojo in the house next Wednesday night, the 22nd. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man.
going to be fun. Can't wait for that. Mikey, good to see you, bro. Everybody get ready. Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia is coming at you right now. All right. Get ready to type. Keith, eyeball the chat, or I will.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah,
we'll
man.
figure out us a winner here. Here we go. In early June 1982, Van Halen holds rehearsals at this location in preparation for the Hide Your Sheep tour.
Does spelling count on this?
All right. Anybody know this? Let's see what you got. Where'd they do the Hide Your Sheep rehearsals at?
Is this going to be a spelling contest too?
No.
Okay.
No. But they can certainly give it their best guesses. Yeah. All righty. You knew I was going to make it hard, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You didn't think just because I was unboxing a guitar tonight that I'd give you a softball, did you?
Geez, Silva.
All right.
Wow, I think you got him.
I think I got him tonight, man.
Yeah, I think you did. Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, there it
Lewis
is.
got it. Yeah, there you go, brother. Congratulations, man.
There it is. Right
Yeah.
on. That is your answer.
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, Francis Ford Coppola's Zoetrope Studios in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Good job, Lewis. Right on, dude.
All right,
Lewis is
Lewis.
winner for tonight. Yeah, thank you, Dan. I got another one loaded, but that just means, Keith, that I don't have to write one for next week.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Oh no, Lewis said he cheated. He Googled.
That's okay. He was the first to Google the first round. It looked like nobody knew it. So
Yeah, I know. There's a long dramatic pause there.
yeah, I'm surprised you even got a hit when you Googled it, but nevertheless. So I'm gonna unbox something. Let me reach back here. I've had this a little while now.
Reach down between your legs. Ease the seat back.
What do you think, Keith?
What could it be? Lewis wants a fruit sickle now.
All right, so let me give them one more look at this before we do this unboxing. So
You do that.
This is the meat and potatoes of the night. But let me
the beastie.
All right, but we have an unboxing that we're going to do. Okay. Now, okay, so now these miniature guitars, we all have. I have the Frankie and I have the Jack Daniels bass. But, and they come with a little stand like this, right?
Yeah.
And you get it ready like that, and it sits on the table. And all right. Let me take this out of the plastic here.
Oh, Paulie.
All righty. So I've got this thing open now. All right. Are we ready for this?
What?
How
What?
you like that?
Are you kidding me? So now you got the daddy fruit sickle and the baby fruit sickle. The baby sickle.
Yep.
Yeah, zoom in on that headstock. Yeah, got the gold
So the
hardware and
back,
everything. Yeah.
the back is just purple.
That is cool. I don't care how many ways you slice it, it's still badass. How many times do you see that? Act 7 doesn't even sell that one.
I got this in Australia.
Oh.
Yep.
When did you fly down there? That is very badass. Jeez. Yeah, I got to get me one of those. That one, a rude, and a shark.
They had a couple of weird ones at this place I got this from. They had the Rasta and I think the circles too, and they had that one.
Okay. What's the name of the place? Just Z Mini Guitars? Oz Mini Guitars. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oz Mini Guitars. Check them out. Very cool. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been waiting a little while to unbox this one too.
Yeah, that thing is sweet.
Yeah. Keep this thing right
Cool.
here on the.
Hey, give me a sec. I'll be right back.
All right. We'll keep that right on the desk there. All right. Right on. Congratulations, Lewis. You are the big winner for tonight. Yeah. I'll keep my other question for next week. Yeah. It's hard too. All right. It is amazing how you can't feel any tape lines at all. The
That's
relic
so badass.
that you see on the front is basically all that I wanted. I wanted light relicing
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much where the tape, where he sticks the picks at, and not so much up here. Because, like I say, this Ed found this guitar in his lap, playing it more so than standing up. So yeah, wearing those overalls like he did in '82, if you sit down, it would have surely rubbed
Yep.
there like hell. So yeah. What do you think, Keith?
Neil knocked it out of the park, left nothing but a freaking jet stream.
He did, man. But to not know what, I mean, he was just moving to start with, okay,
Yeah.
and it, it, he would he hadn't even moved. I sent this Kramer to his
Yeah.
parents' place in Chicago. He wasn't even there yet, so that was the first roadblock. And then how the tape behaved after he tried to seal it. Because we talked about doing just paint at first and not tape, and it was something that he had never done before, you know,
Yep.
never
That's
done a shark before, you know, these oddball ones. But with the process being layers of tape that go completely around and it being specific colors and specific layers, to seal that and do other things seemed pretty cut and dry. You know, at first it seemed pretty cut and dry.
you'd think.
But once the tape was a no go, then his first initial thought was, I can't, as many layers of tape, if I do this in paint, I can't have that many layers over top stacked up like that. So he found the other way where did one at a time like that. Now he has the template, right?
Yeah. now that he's got it figured out, floodgates are going to open up for everybody now. I'm sure Mikey wants one to match his roster.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Um,
I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I had seen the Rasta guitar was also the first time I had seen that guitar too, in the Life magazine article of him playing it
yeah.
in. He was playing I think he was playing the little guitar backstage, but he had those two guitars in the rack.
Yeah, right.
It always intrigued me seeing those two guitars. I'm like, what the hell are those? And then later on, we found out
I
about
know.
it. Jeez.
I always loved this guitar, and there is just one or two pictures of him playing it live.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Actually, I believe somebody uncovered one just the other day. Him right next to Dave, and I think it's at the end of the show because Dave is wearing his chaps. So that's the only
yeah,
time he wore his
right.
chaps was during the encore.
Hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I'm glad this thing is finally done, and to turn this Kramer that I bought into this. And those new Kramer Beretta specials, these things have become quite popular, and people
Yeah.
buy 'em specifically to mod like this, you know. But I just happen to want to go all out with it at once, to get it done.
Never gonna find one like that out there though. Come
No,
on, look at that. That headstock came out freaking balls.
yeah,
Beautiful work. Jeez. That thing is total tits.
yeah, dude. I am beyond pleased with this. Now I want to play it. I'll play it later on after we
Yeah.
hang up.
But
Yeah, dude.
it'll still take a couple of days for it to get acclimated to the temperature and your humidity level there and everything too. Considering the difference between Chicago and North Carolina.
But there it is.
But yeah, man, that is so freaking badass.
Yeah. So this is a 2019 Beretta Special reissue
Mm-hmm.
in purple. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, all that gold highlights just makes it pop. It does.
Yeah,
It's such
the
a smart move.
with the original gold, that rocker trim on there,
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer to go all gold on the hardware was the idea. So yeah.
Yeah. And it was a smart move going with the Kramer, or
See you,
the
Andy.
Floyd, with the Floyd. Take care, Andy. Um, but yeah, going with the Floyd and putting the detuner on there, all in gold. You know, beautiful work.
Yeah.
And yes, the original guitar, it had the gold tuners on it, yeah, which was cool. But the way he highlighted it with the gold Kramer water slide, and then on top of it, your little peace logo on the back, your peace
Yeah.
symbol, gold there.
Right.
Come on,
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
perfect.
I know Neil is super proud of that. It was an extremely, for more than one reason, difficult build. All in all,
Yeah,
it was a tough go, and and then once he got it figured out, and he did a run, and it was the wrong tape order, and he
yeah.
had to start it again. At that point, yeah, but no, he got it done finally. Yeah,
All I can say is bravo, bravo, beautiful work. Jeez.
yeah,
Even down to perfect relicing on the neck, and then relicking all of the rash marks, all the aging where the exposed wood is, getting all that, properly stained out. Freaking out of this world, man.
Yeah.
You should be damn proud to own that thing, man. And I would guard that thing for the rest of my life with it and never let it go.
Yeah, no, that is one of a kind, and I am so happy with this build, and this guitar. This was for me getting this Kramer, and like I say, I didn't know it at the time, but I knew that I would be modding it in some way, and in possibly more than one way.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
wasn't kidding earlier when I said you're going to be sleeping with that sucker tonight. You're going to make Lucy jealous.
I know. No. But yeah, no. Yeah, so glad to have this thing finally. Yeah, wow.
Bad.
Yeah. It almost seems surreal. And,
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
with the, I'm kind of out of my element right now at being a week past this hip thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
10 days down the road.
sinking
How do you
in.
feeling, man? How do you feeling 10 days down the road?
Good. Yeah, I feel good.
Still using the walker though, right?
Yeah, I'm still
Good.
on a walker. I'll graduate to a cane soon enough. But yeah, I'm just a week down the road. Things are going great though. I couldn't be happier.
Good.
Nice not to hurt.
That's the
Yeah,
important thing.
right on. Yeah. Um, let me try to do something here, Keith. All right, let's see if I can. Mm, maybe I can't. Let me try it this way. Right. Yeah, we'll just do it this way. We'll give it to him like this.
All right.
All right. So, like we said earlier, next week on the show, we got Mikey Mojo in the house.
Yeah, man.
That's going to be a fun night.
Mm-hmm. And it's all going to be about Mikey, right?
Yeah, all things Mikey Mojo.
Yeah.
Huge Van Halen, one of the biggest Van Halen fans on the planet.
Yeah. So get all your gear ready, buddy. Okay. Bust out all your toys because you're going to be showing them off.
In 2 weeks here, we're going to have the privilege of spending an evening with the art director who set up the artwork for both the Steve Rosen Tone Chaser book and the Niels Lozauer Ed Buys Lowe's book. Daniel Gray is going to be with us.
Yeah, man.
In 2 weeks. That's March the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet him at Steve's signing, where when Lowe's was there up at Book Soup. Such a down to earth guy, so humble and so knowledgeable, and he's got such a vast array of photographs too that he's actually taken in concert of all sorts of artists, and he'll show us all those stuffs too. So this will be a good show. Tune in, boys and girls. That's going to
Yeah,
be a good one.
that's in 2 weeks from tonight, March 1st. Daniel Gray, yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, kids, we're going to wind things down. I'm going to show them the fruit sickle again, Keith.
Yeah, because you can't drool enough over the fruit sickle. That thing is so badass. Lewis, you have a good night, sir.
See you, Lewis. Always good to
Be good.
see you, sir.
Yep.
All right.
Beautiful job. God. Making everybody on the show jealous now. And, I still have to go back to everything that Neil was showing earlier, too, when you were getting everything out of the box. His work, that he's doing, the one for the Z Clark copy and the one he's making for Charles. Holy crap. Awesome work. Awesome work. I'm jealous of both those recipients. Charles and the other guy, whoever's receiving the Z guitar.
Yeah.
It's so cool that everybody's, stepping up and, going outside the box and looking at different designs. And, here's an example of it right there,
Yeah. All right. All right. The fruit sickle has landed.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. Give her a hug.
Mwah.
Give her a big hug. Yeah. Big kiss and a hug.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Yeah. This is how I wanted it. Goodness gracious. Hell yeah.
So just so everybody knows, after this show, I'm going to be sitting here for an hour watching him just stare at that thing.
I know it is, but hey, yeah,
It'll be a short post show because I'll be saying, I'll leave you two alone.
Yeah, certainly gonna spend some time with the sickle tonight. Yeah, baby. On, dudes.
Congratulations, man. I'm so proud of you and
man.
happy for you, man. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job on the design. And, that's the wonderful thing about Neil's work. He collaborates with every person that he builds for, He doesn't want to just like do what they think they would want. He actually gets in there and, gets dirty with them and is like, do you want this? Do you want that? And, how do you want it?
Yeah. Well, this was, to Neil's credit, this was a impossible build that it might have been a different story if I've got a body and I've got a neck and I'm wanting to do an exact replica. Might have been a little different, but I just wanted to turn my Kramer reissue into this multi-tape guitar, yeah. So, but I was able to do that finally, and that's
Talk
what
about a makeover. Jeez.
That's what it was.
Yeah. One hell of a makeover.
Yeah, dude. All right. We're going to wind things down, I guess, Keith.
All right.
All right. So let's see where we are. So, yeah, leave a thumbs up on the video, please. We talk Van
Yes.
Halen every Wednesday night right here. You know we do because all roads lead to Van Halen. They all lead right back here on Wednesday. And we'll travel down a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
They all lead to Van Halen. Every
Yeah,
damn one of them.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Leave a thumbs up there on the video. We'll be
And
back next
don't forget to
Wednesday.
share too.
We'll talk all things Van Halen next Wednesday. But for Saturday, we come back here on Saturday and we do a show here also. Have I got anything loaded in yet, Keith?
Oh, I think you do.
I don't actually. I gotta do it.
No. Wow.
I should be prepared, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
All right.
wagger.
I got it now. All right.
Yeah.
So Saturday on Show Me Your Pick, we talk guitar picks every Saturday night and rock memorabilia, and we show some cool stuff. This weekend, we're going to talk about Steve Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting dude.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Trickster, spent
yep.
time in Def Leppard.
Well-traveled man.
Yeah. We'll also watch a little video next week from Steve Brown. He gave a little Fruitcake Tony shout out when he appeared on Nez Says a while back.
Cool.
With David Nesdaw and Ty Price. Yeah. That was funny. But yeah, that's next week. That's Saturday, this Saturday, the 18th, Saturday night.
Yeah,
Steve
man.
Brown will be talking. Yeah. All right. Now, should you want to hook up with Neil and huddle up and get your next build going, Neil's links are down below in the description. NeilDaly.com, Daly Custom Designs on Facebook. Those links are down below. Should you need guitar picks, custom guitar picks, please know that Greg at Legend Picks, his links are down below. He will make you some fine picks with your design and your specs. He does for us here and those artists as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does fine work. Brendan B. Squared makes these cool cigar box guitars. You want one of these bad boys? His links are down below.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And don't forget him doing his jump on the 25th too.
Yeah, that's
His
right.
his Sub-Zero Heroes ice jump.
Yeah, that's in 10 days from now. Well,
Yeah. Yep.
Saturday we'll convene here to drink coffee and make omelets and try to get warm, Keith, while we watch our buddy jump in a frozen lake.
Yep. I'll have my bacon, eggs, and English muffin and coffee already, all nice and toasty, and watch his jump. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that'll
Ooh.
be a fun morning if you want to tune in. February 25th, Saturday, 11:30 Eastern a.m. Brendan B. Squared and lovely wife Meg will jump in their local lake for Alzheimer's research called
Mm-hmm.
the Sub-Zero Heroes Ice Jump that he founded, him and Meg, and it's done very well. It's an annual event, and we're proud to cover it live here on the channel. Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
And don't forget, boys and girls, you can still register for that cool ass amp that he built. Anybody who gets over $120, I believe it is,
that's
on
right.
the donation is automatically registered to in a raffle for that amp.
Yeah. So you'll find that Sub-Zero Heroes Ice Jump donation page over on the Show Me Your Pick descriptions. And this upcoming one, you'll find it, and last week's too. And you'll see levels of donation. The highest one is at $120. If you donate there, your name will go into a hat. Brendan will draw that name for a Sub-Zero Heroes battery operated portable cigar box amp. You know, these things are cool to keep in your living room or keep out. You know, to to tune with at least in another room and not have to go plug up a big rig or whatever. And you know,
I
nice to
think
have.
Brendan said he likes to play it when he's parked at the stoplight, freak out the cars next to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a nice little tool. I'm sure all of us
Yeah.
have our convenient ways that we can use them. Yeah. So please donate. The money donated does go to Alzheimer's research. It's used wisely. Meg, that is her job, her career, and yeah, they make strides too with that money.
Yeah. I think
So
Brendan said she's
it
been
is
with
a
them
wonderful,
for like 23
wonderful
years,
thing.
I believe.
Yeah. But they've done the ice jump now for 8 years. So yeah.
Yeah.
But that's going to be fun. That's in a couple of weeks. That's the 25th.
Yep.
So
That'll
10
be great.
days. Week
Can't wait
from
to see that.
Saturday. Yeah, man. Absolutely. All right, let's wind it on down. Leave a thumbs up here on this video for us. Thank you so much. Subscribe here if you're not already. Check to see that you are. And please tell a friend about this
Yep.
show if you love Van
Share.
Halen. We talk Van Halen every Wednesday night. And share all these shows over on your social media sites. Just a click, just to share it over. It it really helps in our growth here. So thank you for that. And we'll be back next week. Halenville Live Wednesday. Thanks for being here, Keith. We're out of here, dude.
Later, boys and
Buckle
girls.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun, man. And
See
don't
ya.
forget to jam. Be a
Peace
good.
out.
Macaroni and cheese with the fruit sickle.